Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning into another episode. Right behind us, we have our cams as well as our cam gears. Huge thank you to Delta Cams, John especially, for being able to work with us and get exactly what we needed in a timely manner. And a big thank you to Nicole and the whole team at VMS for being able to supply us with those cam gears as well. There's been a lot of suggestions on certain companies that make a great camshaft, and I'm not going to knock any other company, but when it came down to the fine-tuning of exactly what we needed and what was going to work for this, we decided to go with the leaders Delta camshafts, which is why we really recommend them. I know a lot of people who have had great success, and even my tuner says that they're one of the best camshafts that I could buy for this. So without further ado, I'm just going to open these up. There is our exhaust cam. And here we have our intake cam. So off the bat, as you open them, you see that they have their painted marks over here, and basically that's like their signature look on the camshafts. And over here we have the off-the-shelf purchasable VMS cam gears that are adjustable, really great quality, as well as the camshafts, really great quality. We're going to be pairing these with brand new cam seals as well as good bolts for the cams onto the cam gears themselves. And if all goes well, we'll be able to put them in today. Now, although I don't have the cam seals here with us right now, I just wanted to show you real quick. Both of these are basically drop-in items when it comes to how it works according to an OEM style camshaft. We have here your two camshaft bolts. These are the OEM bolts as well as the keyways. So what these are going to do are going to ensure that the cam actually rides on the correct portion of the cam gear. It has the locking keyway area right there. If I just take one for example, you have your threaded area right up here. Then you have your space for the keyway. I like putting my keyway first. Set that right in there. And there's only one way that it goes on comfortably, so it's not hard to mix up or anything. Fits right on there. Of course, there is a torque spec I will put right here. It's up to your discretion if you want to use that. A lot of people don't. I like to personally run it down with the impact driver and then finish it off with a torque wrench once it's assembled. And obviously we do need to put the cam seal on, like I mentioned earlier. This is purely for demonstration purposes. But here we have our Delta cams paired onto our adjustable VMS cam gears. Okay, so before we get started with the actual installation of the cams, I just want to mention I am using the Permatex Ultra Slick Assembly Lube. I've used that on the bottom end, and I use it on almost every motor that I put together because it's just a really good assembly lube, and I've never had any issues with it. Then I'm going to be using some Ultra Gray for the corners. I'm not going to go too in depth with how to install these. It is just like an OEM drop-in style. Of course, if you want to do cam to green, that comes afterwards. So if you're looking to install these and want a little bit more information, there's plenty of forums online you can look at, or you can check out a Haynes manual, which is actually how I learned to do everything. You can just pick that up at most auto parts store. If not, you can order one online for about 20 bucks. So without further ado, I'm just going to set this on the time lapse and enjoy my time putting these in. Like you saw in that little time lapse, I was able to use the impact driver to bring all the cam caps down onto the cams themselves. I don't recommend this if you're doing it at home, just for the fact that it's easy to get a little trigger happy, and sometimes things break like that. I'm really accustomed to how the Makita impact driver feels, so that's totally up to your discretion. I got the bolts all the way seated, although they aren't 100% torqued down, which is why going over just with a ratchet and a 10mm socket as well, just to go over all the cam cap bolts again. I'm leaving the back one off for the time being because I have to get a cam plug, which I'm probably going to pick up tonight after work. That's not an issue. And now there is a torque specification that I'll put right here. And if you're doing it at home, I highly recommend you do it that way. The good thing about the non-VTEC motors for Hondas, well, for the LS or B20 at least, there are little holes in the cam caps as well as in the cam itself that you can basically stick either an Allen key or a small screwdriver, and it holds it on the top dead center spot. Right now I have all of the pistons centered inside of the block. In other words, I don't have any piston all the way up or any piston all the way down, which makes it a little bit easier when you're doing timing so you don't mess up anything. And then once we have the front, once we have the cams already in the top dead center, we can bring the crankshaft up and make the piston come up to top dead center and put the timing on the whole motor. Do a rotate from the inside towards the outside when it comes to torquing. So I'll go to the inside cap, then do the top, and then go over here, over there, over here, over there, over there, right there. So basically like doing a circle around. That way we ensure everything is torqued on properly. Most definitely, it's always good to have extra lube on here. You want to make sure that these lobes on the fresh camshafts are as lubed up as you can. You can never have too much. It's basically just like a nice thick oil for the first startup. That way no metal on metal contact, and your parts won't score or wear out prematurely. Okay, skip forward to the next day. We have our cams installed as well as the lower crank gear. We also have the tensioner already to the proper tension and the water pump on there. Basically, the rotating assembly is completely on, aside from a cam plug that I just got from my boy. He just dropped one off. I'm gonna be putting that on in just a minute. Right now, I have my feeler gauges out. We have it to 8 thousandths, which is what I was recommended to run these cams at. Basically, just a flathead screwdriver and a 12mm wrench. Like I mentioned earlier, when it comes to this stuff, I'm going to let you refer to the Haynes repair manual. This is probably the best investment that you can do if you're working on an engine or if you just want to work on the car in general. I bought this like 6 years ago, I want to say, when I first got into cars, and nobody had helped me from the get-go, and this taught me almost everything I knew about engines. So definitely a worthwhile investment if you want to get that, and then it'll teach you how to do all of this. I'm just going to set the phone on time lapse right now and let you guys see from there. And there's the last valve lash. I did both the intake and the exhaust to 8 thousandths. For doing OEM cams, I highly recommend doing the OEM valve lash. And if you have any type of aftermarket cam, it's always smart to go off of what the manufacturer recommends. In this case, the 8 thousandths. Oh, the valve lash is exactly how it needs to be. The new cam plug is in there, thanks to my boy Alvin. Right now, I want to go to Harbor Freight just to get some cutting discs. Like I said earlier, I want to cut this off right there and run no cover for the cam gears, just so I can have on-the-fly adjustability. That's how I have the Integra. Some people are really meticulous about keeping all the covers on. You see right here, I have the lower cover on. I don't like running the top one just because that reason, the adjustment and everything. Although if you wanted to adjust your cams and then put the cover, that is completely fine, nothing wrong with that. But I just really like the way it looks off without the cover on the top. So yeah, we're gonna go get some discs and come back and finish cutting that. Alrighty, we have the sanding disc, flap disc, grinding disc. It's a 10-pack, 2 grinding ones, 3 flap disc, and 5 cutoffs. So this was like $8 or something at Harbor Freight. Yeah, gonna head home and finish that up real quick. All right, so we are all set up right now. I've got my protective eye and face shield or whatever. I'm gonna start with the cutoff wheel, work my way around this. All right, should be pretty much it. I'm gonna show you guys closer total piece off of this side is completely gone. Try to make it as clean as possible. I'm gonna go over it with paint, obviously, after I clean the inside and make sure that there's no debris or anything inside of here. But as you can see, the area where the gasket rise is completely intact. It's just gonna be a nice look from the outside. It's not gonna affect anything whatsoever. And weight reduction. Just kidding, that's not the point of it. But should be all good. Gonna wash this up real quick. Gonna give it a light coat of paint over here, and then test fit it on the car. Okay, skip forward right about an hour. I had dinner and messed around with this a little bit. I washed it out, let it dry real good using my air compressor and everything. And I didn't have any of the same color shift paint. If you haven't noticed, it is color shift. It goes from like a blue to a green to a purple. I was out of that, so I just gave it a little black right here so it wouldn't have any ugly aluminum finish to it. So I think that came out pretty good for now until I get some more of this paint. But I am super in love with how it looks, especially with the VMS cam gears. It looks super aggressive at that point right there. I love the RMF header. And I was just messing with my intake manifold right now. I do have a 74mm throttle body that's going on. I just put a TPS sensor on it. And I was looking at this right here. The entrance is actually a little too big that you get maybe 1 millimeter of this into that area, which if I'm not mistaken, this actually just goes back to atmosphere. So in theory, I don't think it should affect vacuum. I'm gonna look into that a little bit more. And I was looking if I still wanted to run the IAC on here, since this is gonna be to atmosphere. I don't wanna run it off there, but this goes to vacuum right here. And I have this off of the Skunk 2 Ultra, or the Ultra Street that I have on the Integra. I'm actually not running the IAC at all. So if I wanted to just put this in and have it dangle on the back and still have it control IAC, I think I can. We already have IAC turned off in the ECU with the chip and everything, so it's not that much of a big deal. So I could just delete this altogether by running some plugs into the back of this. So that's to be determined later. For the time being, we already know that we're going to be running this manifold with this setup and everything, and it's going to be perfect besides the IAC situation that we just deleted on the ECU. I don't even know why I'm rambling about it. And just talking about it for like 2-3 seconds, I realized that we're just going to delete it altogether, so ignore me. Next thing on the car for the next couple days, I still have to drill out on the back of the head. If you see right here, since we are using the B16 manifold, I have drilled and tapped fitting for the coolant right here. And this is what I think is the EGR. I think that's the technical name for it. That takes some of the exhaust air from cylinder 4 exhaust or whatever, and it just like recirculates and does things for emissions wise from there. I'm going to be drilling, tapping that, and putting a plug back there as well. And the lung block from that point forward, mechanically wise, should be done. All I need is a map sensor. I have to get my coil and plug kit from Burton Racing. And yeah, the car is actually coming together. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say for the video. Big thank you to Carlos Tuning. He hooked it up with a chip for our ECU the other day. So big thanks to Carlos. He's always taking care of me. Make sure to go check in the description, the car clinic, and hit a like on that because Carlos is a genuine guy. I don't know if you guys follow my Instagram at Slowintegra, but I just made a whole post on it. The guy's been by my side when nobody else was throughout the years. The first Honda tuner that I ever met, and the only one that I'll ever be with, is just a genuine, down-to-earth helping guy. So definitely check him out. Give him some love. We really appreciate it if you showed him the love that he shows us. Please do that. And second, huge thank you to John from Delta Cam. Carlos spoke with you, since I'm not really good when it comes to durations and lobes and whatnot, but you guys were able to come up with the perfect cam that we needed for our application. And I know that when it comes to all of your customers, you're always able to give that 100% attention to detail and give them the best quality and customer service. We really appreciate that. Back to Nicole and the whole team at VMS. Huge thank you for the cam gears. These are the same style, just different color that I had on the purple Integra like 4 years ago. I really missed that car, and one of my favorite things was the cam gear, so it's so nice to see it on another car of mine. The setup just looks so aggressive right now. I'm in love with the cam gears, and valve cover situation right now. It's beautiful. But without further ado, that pretty much does sum up the video for today. Let me know, please, what you think in the comment section below. We are always reading these comments. Even if we don't always get the chance to get back to 100% of them, I'm always reading everything that gets posted. So I really appreciate all the love, all the support. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe and notification bell. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.